Welcome to another episode of the PMP Show. We are finally back. It has been a while, I will say that. We had the national championship. Unfortunately, the Frogs could not come out on top. As much as we were hoping that it would happen, it did not come to fruition. But they'll be back. They'll have to take on Notre Dame in the national championship next year. That's going to be tough for them because Notre Dame's just going to be such a college football powerhouse by the end of next year. But the Frogs, I feel like people are just seeing the national championship game and thinking, oh, TCU's terrible. Well, what they aren't considering is the fact of all that they did to get there. And TCU is very good. It's just Georgia is so good. And Georgia deserves the national championship. But definitely do not disrespect the TCU Horned Frogs. They are a very solid program for a first-year head coach coming in there. That is an unbelievable performance of a season after going 5-7 last year or whatever they did.
Well, if the Frogs would have played against Georgia the way they played against Michigan, it would have been a lot closer.
I agree.
But somehow the air went out of the balloon early, and as a result, you got this runaway score that's not really indicative, I think, of TCU's quality of their program. I don't know what they have coming back. They're losing their quarterback. We can talk a little bit about him later. He didn't have such a great Senior Bowl, but he definitely has the talent as he showed in the Michigan game. So,
right.
Hopefully they can reload and come back and take the conference at least again next year.
Hopefully. Even though they did lose the conference championship to Kansas State.
That's true. I lost sight of that, and thank you for correcting me.
Right, but they were definitely contenders for it.
Yes. And they should have won the game, but they didn't. But that's another story.
It was a good game. Yeah. All right, so with that being said, we are moving into the NFL Super Bowl. We missed the rest of the playoffs, but obviously this is a college football show, but we are covering the Super Bowl. We will cover March Madness once we get there, and it's approaching quickly. What else is approaching quickly? The MLB season. We are only like 14 days away from the first spring training game, and we're only 49 days away from opening day. It's exciting stuff. It's coming up quickly, and I don't know. Pirates World Series run this year? I don't know.
I don't think so. But
I don't think so either. But hey, you know who does have a chance? Like an actual legitimate chance?
The Guardians.
Yes. They look so good. And they did decent in the playoffs this previous season. And they didn't subtract anything from their team. They only added. So it can only get better. They won 93 games last year. So hoping for a 100-win season, potentially. I mean, I don't know. They're looking like contenders. I don't know. We'll see. Anyways, we got to talk about the Super Bowl. I'm getting off track here. But anyways, so the Super Bowl, we've got the Eagles and the Chiefs. Neither team has had an easy ride to get here. The NFC Championship, the 49ers had a terrible time. Brock Purdy, who was the third string to begin with after the 49ers lost Trey Lance early on and then Jimmy Garoppolo in week 9. And then now Brock Purdy has to come in. He hasn't lost an entire game in his entire NFL career. He comes into the NFC Championship game. He gets hurt. So now the 49ers are at a disadvantage. And then the guy that was behind him also got hurt. So now the 49ers just have lost complete all hope. And the Eagles take an easy win in what seems to be an unfair matchup.
Yeah, this was almost a forfeit.
Yeah, really.
And everything that could go wrong for San Francisco did go wrong. And as a result, it was a blowout on the part of the Eagles. But don't take it away from the Eagles. They're an excellent team.
100%. And we're talking about the Super Bowl in a minute here.
Right. But the quarterback for the Eagles, Jalen Walker, is that his name?
Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts, all right. You're going to have to fill in some blanks here. Jalen Hurts is quite a story in and of itself, and we can talk about that later.
Well, he went to Bama, so I'm not sure how you.
Well, he went to Bama and he started all but 2 games. He had a couple of games where he started out slow, and Saban decided to put in Tua Tagovailoa, and he was lights out. So after that, Hurts slipped back into the second spot, but he didn't give up.
Right.
And
Then he went to Oklahoma. So
he
I
went
don't.
to Oklahoma, but he actually graduated from Alabama before he did,
That's true.
because he told Saban that I want to be an Alabama graduate, no matter where I may play my last year of football. And Saban advised him to go to Oklahoma because he felt at the time the head coach who was doing the best job developing quarterback talent was Lincoln Riley.
Right.
So he
Now
played.
USC and still developing Heisman quarterbacks.
Well, yeah, you know how I feel about.
We know how you feel about that one. We
and
know
how he took the whole Oklahoma team with him, but that's another point. That's water under the bridge.
but
But Lincoln Riley did a great job with Jalen Hurts, and I believe playing for Oklahoma, he was a Heisman finalist,
mhm,
and they didn't win the national championship,
no,
but they were very, very competitive in the postseason. So I give a lot of credit. He was unselfish. He was willing to work hard. He was willing to continue to communicate with his coach, even though his coach asked him to step aside for another player. And that's the quality of, and that's the characteristics of a quality teammate and a quality player. So he checks all the boxes on that, and I would not be sad if he did very well in this upcoming game.
well, most importantly, we all know that Notre Dame legend Ian Book is also in the Super Bowl. Not that he's going to be doing anything, but you'll love to see it. We'd love to see Ian Book get a ring. Not that he's actually done anything for the Eagles all year. I don't know if he's ever going to be an NFL starter. That I don't know, but he is the Eagles' backup. So if anything were to happen, Ian Book's always there.
Yeah, we'll talk about Ian Book and we'll talk about Tommy Rees later.
On the other side of things, the AFC Championship, it was controversial. The final score was 23-20. The Chiefs won. They beat the Cincinnati Bengals. That was the same matchup as last year's AFC Championship. We've had the same matchup 2 years in a row. The Bengals and the Chiefs last year, but the Bengals won last year. This year, the the Chiefs won in a controversial call. It was a unnecessary roughness call because the guy on the Bengals hit him as he went out of bounds. It was controversial. I'll probably
He was out of bounds when he got hit. I watched the replay.
Yeah, and there will probably be a clip of it.
Out of bounds, but it's a question of whether or not it was just momentum, or
right. It's hard to stop yourself if you're right.
Right.
So
yeah, it was a controversial call, but at the same time, just an incredible performance by Mahomes. He was banged up, and on that last drive, he was limping, and yet he got the job done. Now, question mark, and I haven't seen anything in the sports media about it. What condition is he in going into the Super Bowl?
right.
Is he 100% again, or is he still?
I think he's good, but
Of course, if he takes another knock in the wrong place, then he's out. I don't know who backs him up over there, but
Chad Henne.
Chad Henne. But they're up against a much tougher opponent in the Eagles than. Let's just put it this way: the Eagles are going to make it hard, especially if they're in there with a backup quarterback. So
right.
if Mahomes can't finish the game, then definitely the nod goes to the Eagles.
Right. So another highlight of this year's Super Bowl, we've got two brothers facing off, Jason Kelsey and Travis Kelsey, and they just so happen to be from right around where we live, which is pretty cool, obviously. So people are petitioning to have their mom do the coin toss. That would be pretty
Well,
funny.
I think that's appropriate.
I think so. I cannot confirm or deny if that's actually going to happen. I don't think it is, but it could. Don't take
You
my
know,
word.
I know that you had your game face on and your head was in the game, both before the game and probably after the game. But each of them have donated jerseys to Cleveland Heights, and they're on display outside the gym at Cleveland Heights High
That's
School.
actually really funny because when we played our game there the other day, I did take a picture of it and I have it right here. Now, I will put this picture, it's blurry, obviously, which is annoying. If I
Right.
back up, there it is. I will put this picture in the post editing, but there it is at Cleveland
Okay.
Heights. It is there.
Now here's where I give the nod. The younger brother is the brother with Kansas City,
Right.
and the older brother is getting to the point where he's in the twilight of his career. I don't know how many more chances he's going to get.
Right.
And so it would be nice for him to go ahead and win the Super Bowl and lock that up and have that distinction.
Well, Travis Kelsey on the Chiefs has already won the Super Bowl.
He has already won the Super Bowl. Not only that, but as long as Mahomes is the quarterback over there, they're the favorite going in every season. So he's going to have a chance, at least the potential to win more, to be a more Super Bowl winning teams going forward.
That makes sense. You're right.
So in terms of the local flavor and competition here, I have to give the nod to Travis Kelsey, the Eagles
Jason Kelsey.
Jason Kelsey.
It's
That's why I have you, to keep this stuff straight.
So this is interesting. We're just going to take a little look at the analysis before the game. The Chiefs are 14-3. The Eagles are 14-3. Okay. The line favors the Eagles by 1.5. Okay. The ESPN predictor has a 48% chance, or not a 48, 47% chance for the Eagles and a 53% chance for the Chiefs. So the line and the ESPN predictor are kind of overlapping, but it's very close all around. But I've been thinking this the whole time. I'm gonna have to take the Eagles. Who you got?
Well, I got the Eagles. I think the unknown factor here is what kind of shape is Mahomes in, and is he going to make it through the whole game? And if he does, then I think it's a toss-up.
Yeah. I mean, I can't wait to watch it. And I said the same thing about the national championship too, and it was a waste of my time. But I legitimately think this is going to be a good game. I'm hoping for the best.
Right.
Obviously, last year's Super Bowl was great, but we are filming this Friday night. This game is Sunday at 8. Well, it says 6:30 p.m. on here, but I don't know if I can trust that. Hold on just a minute. Is it 6:30 p.m. Arizona time? No, it is 6:30. 6:30 p.m. our time. So don't know what time it is in Arizona. Probably a little earlier, but 6:30 p.m. Eastern time on Fox. Make sure to tune into the Super Bowl. It's going to be great. Other things we need to talk about. LeBron James broke the NBA all-time scoring record, which is extremely impressive. Congratulations to him. But this continues on with the age-old debate. Who's the real GOAT? Is it Michael Jordan?
Well, here's the way I look at it. And LeBron's a threat in the paint, he's also a threat from 3 points.
Exactly. He's a very versatile player.
Right. So to say that, well, he got all of his points this way, whereas Michael Jordan, for example, had a better distribution of how he got his points, I think is a moot point. From my perspective, you take it as it is. He's the all-time scoring champion in the NBA, and just leave it there. And it's too early to make the final judgment on whether LeBron should be the best player of all times, the GOAT of the NBA. The only knock I have on LeBron, if you will, and I don't think it worked out so well with the Lakers, but it certainly worked out well with Miami and Cleveland, is he was able, because of his skill, to pick situations where there was a high potential for at least getting to the championship and maybe winning the title. He did that both in Miami and he did it in Cleveland.
Similar to, like you said, Patrick Mahomes.
Right. Now, Michael Jordan played for the Bulls the whole time.
Yeah, that's true. Well, he did play for the Wizards for like a minute.
Isn't that when he owned the team or something?
No, he played for hold on. He did play for the Wizards. I don't know how long.
He owned one of the teams, or owned a big interest in one of the teams. May have been Charlotte.
He owned, but he played for the Wizards.
Well, but that hardly counts as part of his body of work.
I get it, but he definitely did.
Yeah, he definitely did. But LeBron was able to pick and choose who he played with. Let's put it that way.
The last 2 seasons of his career, he played for the Wizards. But this is interesting. So he pulled a Tom Brady. I'm just looking at his career stats here. The 93-94 season, he did not play because he was playing minor league baseball. And then he retired for 3 years before playing for the Wizards.
Well, as I say, that's a footnote. That really is not part of his body of work.
I get what
And what you would really have to do, and I don't think we have the statistics here to do it, is break down how many points were in the paint, how many points were from three-point range, and so forth. But again, I take it at face value that LeBron is the all-time scoring leader in the NBA, at least for now.
Right.
And let's just leave it at that. People on the sports talk shows like to discuss this till the cows come home.
Right.
Compare them to Bob Cousy and people like that who used to play back in the day before I was born. And yeah, John Havlicek and Bob Cousy and some of those guys were really great. But at the same time, the game changes, the economics changes, the rules change.
Yeah. No, it's completely different. The style of the game changes. And that's one of the long debates also. If Kareem played today, would he be as good? That's a great question. If Wilt Chamberlain played today, would he be as good? It depends. It's a completely different style of game. The defense is better. It's much harder to score in the paint now. It is a completely different game, which is why that's a hard question to ask.
Well, it is. And if you, I don't know how I got it, but I get this on Facebook. These posts about the old-time baseball players. And you had pitchers who were pitching every day.
Yeah.
You had people with these batting averages over 500. It was just a different game in those days. The ball was different, I'm sure. The ball yeah. So it's hard to make these comparisons over time. So that's why I say let's just take it for what it is and move on.
I agree. One last thing we have to cover: Tommy Rees, Notre Dame offensive coordinator.
Tommy Rees, yeah,
to Alabama. And now
Yeah,
Notre Dame
it-
is looking for an offensive coordinator.
yeah, it was almost like a Brian Kelly.
Yeah, it was so random, just all of a sudden.
The plane with the big A on it landed in South Bend. He jumped on it, went down there,
That was it.
came back. He had the job. Well, here's the situation. You either love Tommy Rees or you hated Tommy Rees.
Yeah.
There's a lot on both sides of
Yeah.
both sides of the line there. Some people feel that that he has the brightest young offensive mind in college football, and all that working with Saban can do is make it even better. That this guy has all the right stuff, and this is a good move for him because he gets to work with the best.
Yeah.
And Saban has had so many offensive coordinators who have left him and have gone on to do very well. Lane Kiffin, for example. Trying to think who else. I'm not quite sure whether I know that Smart at Georgia
Yeah.
was a defensive guy, but I don't know about the guy up in Tennessee who was on the staff. But in any event, let's face it, Nick Saban is a coach's coach, and Tommy can learn a lot from him.
Oh, yeah.
On the other side of the line, I've been reading a lot about good riddance. Tommy Rees is not creative. He's locked into a Brian Kelly mindset. He has a habit of wasting second and third downs by unimaginative play calling. And maybe even if that's true, Saban will get that out of his system. And, we hate to say it, but quite frankly, Alabama draws much better talent in this day and age than Notre Dame does. Be interesting to see what this quarterback from Wake Forest does. Hopefully, he will really come out gangbusters and be great. But we don't know. He's going from one system to another. We don't know who the offensive coordinator is going to be. So to say that, oh, he did so well at Wake Forest, he's a shoo-in, that's not necessarily the case. And these things play out in all ways. Look at Jack Cohen.
Yeah.
He was pushed aside by Getz, and he came to Notre Dame and really did well, I thought, for having
Yeah.
come
I
in
mean, yeah.
in a tough situation. And what happened after the end of this season? Gets set aside, and he's in the transfer portal. So again, we've talked about the transfer portal and how it's messed up college football and made everything unpredictable. We just don't know. Is this Hoffman? Is that his name? From Wake Forest?
Hartman.
Hartman. We just don't know if Hartman from Wake Forest is going to translate over into the Notre Dame system.
That is the hope.
As directed by the offensive coordinator, who is yet to be named.
Yeah. Well, we'll see.
There's
But
a lot of variables there.
I think that this move may have settled that debate. Is Tommy Rees a good offensive coordinator? Well, Saban knows best. Saban has a history of being one of the greatest college football coaches of all time. He has won national championships, multiple, and now with him hiring a offensive coordinator who some people think he's great, some people don't like him, but now I'm sure people see this hiring and they think, oh well, Nick Saban is one of the greatest college football coaches of all time. Maybe I should trust that maybe Tommy Rees is a good offensive coordinator.
Two more knocks on Tommy Rees from people who probably don't know anything about football and shouldn't be expressing an opinion. Number one, he's not a good recruiter.
Yeah.
And
you know who is? Marcus Freeman is a good recruiter.
Marcus Freeman is a good recruiter. And number two, the other knock on Tommy Rees is he's still thinking like a player and he's not thinking like a coach.
That's fair.
So,
all right.
Tommy had a very interesting career at Notre Dame. He lost the starting job a couple of times. They brought him back, and he really led some exciting comebacks for the Irish. I wish him well, quite frankly.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
I hope he does well, and he could end up back at Notre Dame as the head coach if Freeman decides that that there's a better deal out there for him. So we'll have to see. I think Notre Dame football is a real question mark going into next season.
Really.
And they got a tough schedule.
Yeah, they do, but I think they might be able to handle it.
Well, we'll see what happens with Ohio State.
Yeah. All right, well, we thank you for watching this week on the PMP Show. I usually say enjoy your college football Saturday, but enjoy your Super Bowl Sunday. Let's hope the Eagles can take it home. That's who we are rooting for. But we thank you for watching this week on the PMP Show. We will see you next week. Thank you for, or well, maybe not next week. I mean, I don't know. We will see you next time.
We'll see if the Super Bowl is worthy of a whole show.
Yeah.
And if it isn't, then we'll save it and talk about it when we take up the next topic, which will probably be the lead up to March Madness.
Yes. So it might be a little while till the next episode, but we will see you next time. Thank you for watching. So long, everybody.
So long.